I call it Liberation Day. April 2nd is Liberation Day. For the most part, April 2nd will be a big day. That'll be Reciprocal Day. And we'll be bringing some of the money back that's been taken from us. Let's be nice by using the word taken.
Well, we are just 3 days away from what Trump has deemed Liberation Day, this Wednesday, April 2nd, when reciprocal tariffs take effect. Trump saying that it's his way for the United States to reclaim some of the money lost in the imbalanced trade relationships. Now, Canada is one of those nations who will be hit by these tariffs, imposing their own retaliatory tariffs now. But Ontario Premier Doug Ford had some strong words about that. Watch.
We just aren't going to roll over. We're going to retaliate. And he's going to feel the pain from the American people. We're going to make sure that we inflict as much pain as possible to the American people without inflicting pain on the Canadian population.
So joining us now, Michael Charbonneau, the host of the Charbonneau Report. Michael, I mean, we know this was coming, and now it's here. What are you seeing on that side of the border from Canadians? Are they backing down? And what should we expect to happen on Wednesday when these reciprocal tariffs take effect?
Canadians are not backing down. They're doing reciprocal tariffs. I had a long discussion with an economist and another business executive who talks to American companies. John, consider this. Because of what Donald Trump is going to do on April the 2nd, is this actually a brilliant master plan that once everybody postulates and gets their new positions as we're going to put tariffs on you, and America gets a bit of a better deal and all this money invested, that once a new prime minister is elected in Canada, for instance, on the 28th of April, they're going to have a summit, they're going to hold hands, they're going to stop the tariffs, and they're both going to walk away as triumphant leaders in saving both their countries. Is this the plan, John? Do you really, I mean, is this it? Do we really want to cripple the auto market? Do we really want to make a harder economic row for America and Canada? I wonder.
Yeah.
Is this a master plan? Is this truly his plan?
Right. And there is a new Canadian Prime Minister, for people that aren't following, Mark Carney. That's because Justin Trudeau resigned. He had this to say about the relationship between the two countries. Watch.
The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over.
What do you take from that? I mean, doesn't Canada need to rely on the United States for the military and for its economy?
Well, 75% of Canada's economy sells to the United States. That's Canada's fault. That's all our fault for relying everything on one market. Militarily wise, strategic wise, yes, America's might and military intelligence and superiority, particularly in the globe, does help to protect Canada. Canada should buck up, pay their money that they need to NATO, and increase our military. That is a given. But Canadians don't have a fight against Americans. And I don't believe American people have a fight with Canadians. It is the posturing of government, and it is the posturing of business against business that's going to affect both our sides. And a little bit of pain is going to make America respect Canada and Canada respect America, and hopefully we can stop this silliness, because there's a fear of stagflation, John.
Yeah.
You know, where inflation continues to go up, but the economy doesn't respond. Everything stops.
Yeah, one of the big sectors could be the auto tariffs that could really impact Canada. In a phone conversation with NBC News, President Trump said that he couldn't care less if foreign companies had to raise prices due to the auto tariffs, saying this. He says, quote, "I couldn't care less if they raise the prices, because people are going to start buying American-made cars. I hope they raise their prices, because if they do, people are going to buy American-made cars. We have plenty." Is that fact, though? Because a lot of the auto parts to build them come from Canada. Is that correct? So are they going to be able to get the streamlines, up and running that quickly?
So imagine there's what's called a door striker. The material is manufactured in the United States, shipped to Canada. Canada forms it, then it ships it back to the United States. The United States coats it and paints it, ships it back to Canada, and then it's installed in Canadian and American sold cars. Is that part American-made or Canadian-made? Does that make the car not made in the United States or made in Canada? And when you look now at the stock market, Ford is down, 4%, GM is down 7%, Stellantis, Magna, they're all down. 30% of European cars, BMW, Volvo, Mercedes, VWs, they're all exported to the United States. 13.8 million people in Europe work in the car industry. There is going to be some type of resolution that has to be made because America is not allowed to go into their market. Canada is a completely different situation. And I think we have to really look at that. I got to say, Senator John Kennedy said it the best. He challenged Carney last week. He said, let's have zero tariffs. Yeah. No tariffs on us, no tariffs on you. Let's have an economic boom and have that gold standard moving forward for both our countries. That should be something that's seriously considered. Yeah. But Canada's got, I think it's $2 billion to help the Canadian car industry if we get injured by all this going on, John.
April 28th, you said Canadians go to the polls to elect a new prime minister. Carney, as we just saw there, he's currently holding the role of prime minister. Give us an update here. I know we talk a lot about Pierre Poilievre, that's the conservative that's running against Mark Carney, but where are they at? Where are they at in the polls? I mean, are the Liberals going to get back in, or could we potentially see this move and shift into a conservative Canada?
So Liberals are currently holding 48% of the popular vote, one would say, and the Conservatives about 33-32. So don't forget, the Liberals still have a honeymoon. There's a lot of Canadians who are saying, thank God Trudeau's out. There's another Liberal. Let's get him in there. Carney does not have an elected seat, hence why he had to call a flash election, because he could not stand up in Parliament as the Prime Minister and speak. There is a honeymoon going on. But here is the bad part of it. The Canadian dollar is worth about 69 cents. Let's start talking about the real things, and that's what's going to start coming out in the hustings, the economy, what Canada is doing to protect itself, immigration, the tough position on crime, the elimination of government waste. Doesn't that sound kind of like Doge in America? What happened to Poilievre, he got a little bit of a problem because he was associated very closely with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump President Trump, I should say, putting these tariffs on has a little bit of a negative taste of conservatives and Canadians. So Poilievre's struggling a little bit with that association. But once all the facts start coming up and people pay more attention, it is perceived that there may be a conservative minority government. But right now, it's all Liberal, it's all red. They're still in a honeymoon, and we'll see where it's all going to take us shortly.
Yeah, I asked my Canadian friends as well, what do you think of this new Prime Minister, Mark Carney? And a lot of them say, we didn't vote for him. And he's making all these decisions and trying to negotiate with President Trump over the tariffs, and they're not happy about it. What are you hearing?
Well, they're basically saying Carney doesn't have, he's kind of like an undertaker leading a choir. People are humming, but no one's really singing. They're all kind of going, yeah, okay. He's got no enthusiasm. He's not a politician. He's a banker. Poilievre, on the other hand, is like a little boy who's trapped in a frustrated man's body complaining, we want this, and we're mad. To a certain extent, Canadians can identify with that. They're not sure if they can trust him. They're not sure if all this bloviation and Trump-esque talk is going to result in positive results. So Poilievre's got to get his act together, and Carney's got to get a little more enthusiastic. I still believe that it's going to be a conservative win because Canadians want change, and 4 terms of the Liberals has turned out, we're seeing what the undergrowth is, and we've got to get our economy and we've got to get our budget back into tack.
Yeah.
And you're going to reap the benefits of Trump in the next couple of months. It's still tough now, but what he's doing is the right thing, and Poilievre needs to do the same, John.
All right, we shall see. April 28th, Canadians go to the polls. We'll see what happens there, and whoever takes that seat, how it's going to affect the United States with Donald Trump as well. Coming up next, a brutal earthquake wreaking